Hey,
Oh, hello. How's everyone doing today? Oh my God. I missed you so much last week.
what's going on? Oh my God, I feel so like warm and tingly inside. Oh, yes. How y'all doing? Good to see y'all.
It's good to see you. Oh, I see who was first. That looks like Josh and Eccentric. And Josh is building glory holes.
Oh, I'm building. Oh, come on, glory holes. Lord, hey, come
Uh
on.
so there is a story about, I mean, not that uh we would be surprised that Josh is building glory holes, but um
Not at
my
all, but we just need to be more supportive of this philanthropic endeavor. Like, I just feel like
exactly.
this is, I'm just,
My little brother is the host of a party called Hetero, Headero, and they need a glory hole set up for the function. So Joshua, who was over to the house, uh, finishing my basement, which you will, some of you will see one day sometime soon, was there, and Dominus brought it up, and he was like, "Hey, well, this is something that I could do." So finally, Josh, all of your construction skills are coming together.
I'm
All of
listen.
listen, the universe aligned, everything came together at just the right time in just the right place.
I am here for all of it. All of it.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yes, indeed. I'm here for all of it.
And
So,
so since we last saw you, how has it been the last 2 weeks for you, Mr. Epic?
oh my gosh, the last 2 weeks have been great. We've had a lot of stuff that went on, and I participated in a few things. We checked out a movie. We went to go see Wicked for good. Did we talk about that
Hmm.
last week on the? One thing we talked about on the show, but yeah, well, not last week, but
We
the
did
the
not,
last show.
because we saw it after we went to the show.
Right. Okay. Sorry, after the show, but before. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So
Hmm.
anyway, which we really enjoyed, and I mean, I listen. I planned on talking about it just a little bit further in detail. So, but it was good. We took a trip to New York City for a day trip, which was really really great, and it
That's right.
reminded me.
We've done a lot.
Right, it reminded me of again. I keep telling y'all that I am born and raised in the city. I'm such a city kid that like it's all Philly. So like being downtown, being on the buses, being on the go, that sort of stuff was exciting. And so taking that day trip up to New York was cool,
Hmm.
even though even though on the way back I made a solemn promise to myself that I will never board another train or plane or anything with public people on it, and I don't have some damn noise canceling earphones. Oh!
I feel sorry for you, but did I or did I not, in our group text before we departed, was like, remember your headphones, because your Brista works for another entirely unrelated company called Camtar. And baby, the way people will see your Camtar badge or your little Camtar logo on your outfit, and they will sit down next to you and be like, "Hi."
No, sir.
So, or on this 3.5 hour ride from New York City back to DC, I would like to tell you my entire life story.
And baby, that's
I'm not going
exactly
to leave out even a single detail.
but that's exactly what happened to our best friend. I sat and watched him. It was like in slow motion. Like on the inside, I'm screaming, but she turned around. She was like, "Hi, oh my god, how are you?" And best friend was just like, "Hi, I'm good." He just went into, okay, but I'm talking too much. I'm talking too much. I'll stop. He's like, no. It's quite all right. It's okay. Just keep talking. And she must have said like 3 or 4 times.
Because see, that's listen, I love best friend to death, but he do that shit all the time. We will be somewhere and he'll be talking to somebody and I'm like, that person? He was like, no, that's this homeless person I was talking to. And listen, I'm not suggesting that you should totally ignore, definitely not suggesting that like you ignore homeless people or treat them like they're not human. It's not that. It's that he just likes to engage with random people. And I'm like, no, girl, I'm not doing that.
Baby. And the way she was very nice and very pleasant for what I heard, but I heard her say it like 2 or 3 times. And of course, I heard nothing that she had. All I heard was Charlie Brown was like, wah, 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 wah,
Exactly.
wah. But the moment she said, "Oh, I'll just shut up," I heard that loud and clear. That was crisp and clean with no caffeine. And best friend was like, no, it's fine.
I'm still here. I just turned off my camera for 5 seconds. Keep going.
He said, no. He's like, no, it's fine. Just we can. And then best friend wanted to add in and keep talking about stuff. And I was like, okay, well, listen. I politely tried to roll myself over or position myself in my seat so that I can go ahead on and get these snooze and these Z's in on this train ride, because I took them all the way going the way up there, and I most certainly was going to take them on the way back. So that is the part for me that I definitely will continue to do. But next time, like I said, I'll do it with my noise canceling earphones, because there's no way. There's no way. Because that whole conversation of the kids in front of me, listen, I'm sure they were lovely kids. Their parents are probably very proud of them and whatever else they got going on, but baby, they were just talking too damn much. And then the train conductor was like adding to it. He was just like, hey, do you know why we do this? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So I have ridden with that conductor before. And baby, if you get her going, she's as bad as the other passengers. She will strum your pain with all of her fingers. She will sing your whole life with her words.
Baby, not only did she do all that, she just talked. Like she would walk away and then she'd come back and he was like, so do you all know? And I was like, shut up. But
no, I don't know. And listen, not only do I not know, I don't care. That's like
I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I'll be like, I don't want to know.
Oh, wait a minute. Definitely said my picture's giving trade. Okay, thank you.
His does too.
I do a little something. I try.
Yeah, his does too. It gives trade in the picture.
Y'all see, ladies and gentlemen, y'all see she's starting early. She is starting early. As because just because, honey, you were giving your best Charlie Brown aesthetic, it's all good.
Listen, all I'm saying is, the great equalizer put all 3 of us in a room and watch at least 2 of us start to dance when all you have to play is just one song. And listen, it'll be 5 notes. It'll be budaka, ha. That's 4. Right. Listen, the whole thing is over. The whole thing is over. Like everybody's over. Now you might be like, oh, but listen, I already know I'm my hands is moving and I'm right. Listen, it's okay. It's all right. But it's all right. It's okay.
Listen, yes. So so we went to New York. Let's talk about everything and then we'll circle back to Wicked. So we saw Wicked. We saw Wicked that Friday after the show. We went to New York that Sunday. And then I forgot. I ran into CPR, Chris Patterson Russo, who hosts the Sniffies podcast. The you saw him, the cute dark skinned guy that I kept pushing up on. Let's be clear. We was pushing up on each other. It wasn't, my touches and my whatever was very much reciprocated. So,
ladies and gentlemen, I just want you all to know that I was just there watching it go down. But what it really looked like was it looked like just sex in the public amongst these two people. It was all this hands and it was touching and bodies were melding and people were hugging and holding and all this. And I was just like,
body to body to body to face, body to body to body to face.
I was looking for a napkin because I was like, that is, they getting stuff up. This juice is flowing. That's how it appeared to me.
Oh, it was very gay, eccentric. And you know what? I regret nothing.
Right. And listen, as you should not. You should not regret anything that you did. And you enjoyed it. That's all that matters. Because listen, there's a part that it was nice to watch. Because baby, when I tell you he got locked in, he was just like, oh, and I said, oh, is that his husband over there? I said, oh, this is interesting.
So here's my thing, right? I am never trying to break up a happy home. Never.
Right. Right.
And so when people say to me, it was like, oh, this is my husband. And then they pull me in closer. I'm like, okay, whatever y'all can figure that shit out later. At this moment, this is what's happening. So, yeah.
And listen, I also want to say this right now because I done procrastinated and I just had this taste right now. But keep on talking because I'm gonna sit here and eat this piece of sweet potato pie. So just keep on talking. It's very.
But you're in the middle of your story. We New York.
Okay,
now, what happened? How was your Thanksgiving?
So Thanksgiving was good. I wound up hanging with the best friend, and it was interesting because the best friend usually has a house full of company, and that house full of company did not necessarily show up for various reasons. Like life is happening, like life is lifing, like it always does.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just the two of us. Now it took me way back because when I was in grad school and just when I was in the city and when we just weren't in the same city or in the same vicinity, we kind of always made sure that wherever we were, we got back to one another on like the holidays and spent the holidays together. And half the time we was in the kitchen cooking. And listen, when I say that drunk Julia Childs thing, 1 cup for you, 2 cups for me, 1, 2, like that's how we used to be getting through Thanksgiving. So it was fun, and we kind of got that road again. But spent the day up there, had a good time, laughed and joked, and then came on home. And like it was perfect. It was the right amount of food, it was the right amount of company, laughing, joking, and then it was actually for him and I just to kind of sit down and just really just chat and just talk about stuff. We talk on the phone, but you don't really get to catch up that much. And half the time our conversation is so animated that if you're not there, you miss half the conversation. But but yeah, like it was good. Had a really good time with that. The next day, Maximus had a little function in Baltimore, and so it was an after Thanksgiving thing, and it was cute. But I had the one thing that I had going on at that particular day was I was helping two of our other brothers open up their home for another friend of ours who had a stroke. And let me press pause for a second. This is who I'm talking about right now is the first person that I knew that had a stroke in recent weeks. This was their second stroke. And consequently, I have another friend who had a heart attack. Had a stroke and then had a heart attack when he was going to go check out of the hospital. And that just happened within the past 2 days. And these are this is one of the people that would have been in Baltimore with us at this particular. So it's just kind of all that thing. But anyway, on Friday, like I said, I was helping our brothers prepare a space for them to come home to. So I'm moving stuff, reorganizing stuff. My mind is you are the organizer, cabinet, fixer upper tchotchke person, and I'm just like, listen, let's stack this up, let's play Tetris, let's get this together. That's how my mind works. And so I was doing that, trying to get everything together, and then, like I said, then I wound up going up to Baltimore, but I wound up getting up there really late because I didn't get out there, I didn't start to leave out of there until after my haircut, which was essential. And so I got up there like about 8:30, 9 o'clock ish, and I had a good time. So I saw your little brother, my little brother, the rest of the, well, not the rest of them, all except for one in the pledge line. Which, by the way, I'm trying to figure out where and why I haven't heard from one of my nephews. I don't know where they are at this particular point. I don't know. I ain't heard from him. I ain't seen from him. Dylan, but I'll excuse it because it's the holiday. But I ain't heard from you, Dylan. But okay, I don't know if he's watching, Dylan. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But other than that,
it was awkward for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. We had a good time, and I think they left and went out. And they wound up going to like the Eagle afterwards. But baby, I was already 2 sheets to the wind, and I was tired, and I had to drive them back home. So that was good. But I was driving home, thinking and singing about Wicked because I kind of enjoyed it. But, and I'm just gonna say spoiler alert because we probably will talk about a few things. But for me, this was a separate movie, and this separate movie was not as good as the first part to me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, we are going to get into that a little bit, but a lot of people said that, but they also said that the movies are roughly divided along the line. Ooh. Mrs. Sugar Snap said, "Oh, so you was in Baltimore."
So, listen, see, Mr. Sugar Snap. See,
let's get into it, Mrs. Sugar Snap, because we know how he does. We know how he does. Mr. Epic, you have some explaining to do to Mrs. Sugar Snap. So the floor is yours.
Listen, Mrs. Sugar Snap. So first of all, so let's we really want to. So let's. I ain't heard from you, Mrs. Sugar Snap, in how many months, how many years have I not heard from you? And then I just reached out to you. That's what we doing? That's how we gonna do it? That's how we gonna approach it? I mean, I still love you. Okay. And then you gonna stand 10 toes down like,
said, yep.
Listen, I love it. Love it, love it, love
it. And did.
Love it, love it, love it. See, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm laughing because I always say this is a cousin, because we were talking about like family trees and where people were from and everything. And so our family has some stuff that's down where my family's from. So I'm like, we probably related somewhere. I can't figure it out. But again, when I say we always have been on the same page about shit. So thank you, Mrs. Sugar Snap. And yet, well, yes, you did call me. I did miss the call, but we've been playing voicemail, phone tag, and I think tag your eggs. I think I left you but yes. And so Spiller Boy, hey boo, I didn't even see you in there. I'm sorry. I think you need to revisit it maybe.
It's about Wicked.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, maybe it wasn't, because it wasn't bad. At least I didn't think it was bad.
We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that.
Okay, yeah.
So the rest of Thanksgiving, people had strokes and heart attacks, and then
right. So, but other than that, it's good, and both of them are doing very well. One of them came home. The other one is still in the hospital, but again, so I'm happy about that they're doing well and they're getting the care that they needed. But it's still kind of sad because I'm also sitting at this point like, are we at that point? Are we at this age where people are having strokes and heart attacks and falling out? And I'm like, gout and everything else. I'm like, we are. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, it's kind of scary. But hey, it's also kind of invigorating because we're getting older. And I mean, these are things that I'm not saying you look forward to getting sick, but you look forward to getting older and figuring out how you're going to deal with stuff. But listen, I just hope it's a smooth transition for the majority of, for all of my friends and family and even for myself. I mean, speed bumps are going to happen, but we just got to figure out how we're going to deal with them. So I wish everybody, to age gracefully and not have any issues, but life be life. And so who knows? I just hope it's not as bad as it could be. And I don't know, but I'm gonna just shut up at that point. At this point, I'm good. So,
okay.
Yeah. I feel like I keep mumbling and talking about it. And I feel like I'm trying to, it feel like it's going to make it worse. I'm like, nope, just stop talking about it. Nope. So, but yes, that was for the most part the 2 weeks. I will also say we are celebrating some birthdays, one today. So I listen, in my lifetime, I've had a couple of husbands, and this husband's birthday is today. So happy birthday, hubby. That's what I'm going to say. Tomorrow is my
Oh, the husband don't have a name?
Yeah, you listen, George, your husband says telling you happy birthday. Hello. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that husband, yes.
But tomorrow, my road dog, one of my besties, who is everything that is fun, exciting, annoying, and everything else all at the same time. But it's all good. Grace, happy birthday, love. Happy birthday, love, because her birthday's tomorrow. So she's celebrating.
When is Grace's birthday?
Grace's birthday is actually tomorrow. So today's hubby's birthday, and then tomorrow is Grace's birthday. That's her actual birthday tomorrow.
Oh, okay. How does it feel to finally be 21, Gracie?
Listen, is she even here? Because I was talking to her earlier, because then she gonna tell me some stuff about
that's not who Grace Morris is.
She in there? There she is. Okay, all right. I didn't see it. Okay, all right, okay. So yeah, but listen, Grace, don't take your ass to sleep. Getting dressed tomorrow. Why are you getting dressed? You going in?
No, listen, I think she said she's gonna get dressed up to go to work. Oh, she's getting dressed now. Okay. She's about to go out. She's about to go out and have big fun.
Possibly, and especially since she might be in the passenger seat. So but again, we shall see, because we still have time. Because listen, much like her, or much like myself, rather, sometimes that sleep kind of takes over everything. When you take off that one shoe, or you sit down and it's like,
bitch, that's exactly. I around 6:50 was like, I just take a little nap, little nap. But before I did, I was like, let me set this timer, so at 7:30 I can get up, because otherwise I will be getting up right about now, like, oh, that was a very refreshing nap. Now, time to get ready for the show. And
that's all right.
I don't want to hear nobody mouth.
Oh. Like, you think I would say something? Like what?
Me? You would say something. Yes, that would be you.
That is very pointed visually.
It is quite
emotionally.
Pointed. You and you and you and you and you. You can duck and dodge all you want, but that's you.
What?
You ain't lay on me. You ain't gonna you ain't ducking and dodging like that.
But yeah, so I probably would have, but I'm not gonna say nothing about it. But not right
because
now.
You're not that kind of person.
I'm not that kind of person, and you weren't that late.
You just let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, you weren't that late.
The show started on time. That's all you all need to know.
Did it?
It did.
Did it?
It started at 8 o'clock.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, we did. We did.
It started afterwards. It started like 8:01, 8:02.
No. It started right on time.
Did it?
It did.
But I'm not that type of person, so I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, when you're wrong, you're wrong. So there you go. So anyway,
right.
So
you should hold on to that.
So go ahead and eat your sweet potato pie. So my last couple of weeks has been good. Like I said, we went to see Wicked, and then we went up to New York specifically because I wanted to go to the leather market at the Eagle. Girl, you're not gonna use like a knife and a fork, or not a fork, not a knife, but a fork or something. You're just gonna pick
eat a sweet potato pie? No, baby, that's not how we do that. Nope. But go ahead on. Pie. Yes, Grace, pie.
Okay, well, there we go. All right. So New York was fine. And then on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I rolled out to the deep South. The deep South. I flew into Atlanta, picked up my rental car, and drove to Alabama to spend time with my family. Now, wait a minute. It can't be 8:04 because the recording says we have been recording for exactly 27 minutes, and it is 8:27. That means we started right on time. So thank you very much. Thank you. Say no more.
Well, listen, all I'm going to say is the time that's on my phone now just moved over to 8:29. So even if it wasn't 8:04, it was 8:01 or 8:02, which is what I had. But it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, girl, you control the stream too, so you could have started the show. But no, you had to get up and get your pie or whatever the fuck's going on.
You also said I'm going to start the show. I said, I'm here. Go ahead. Just keep it starting. Yep. No, I would listen. Grace, we have this very
focus on the correct things. Did you hit the like button yet? Did you share this on your Facebook page? Did you share it on Twitter? Thank you. That's what I need you all to do instead of following along with Epic and his misinformation and that pie that probably ain't that good no way.
Speaking of pie, of which Grace says, of which you will not share one piece with your funny bestie. But okay, listen, let me explain something.
And don't Grace's mama live in your same complex now?
She might.
I mean, so you could have, even if you didn't have time to see Grace, and don't y'all work together?
Grace's mother, we just gonna call her Savannah. Savannah can get whatever Savannah is sweet as pie. I will give Savannah whatever if she asked me for it, I would give Savannah what she wanted. And that's fine. But here's the funny thing. The funny thing is, you know how I feel about certain things. Now, you know, I've been one of those people that tell you, if this is what you want, let me buy you your own.
Yeah.
This was made specifically for me. I am not sharing it. I am eating it. She knows this. We've had this conversation several times, but she keeps pressing the issue about it. And now that we put it on the television, I'm.
Well, I guess he don't love you as much. I guess he don't love you as much as you thought, Grace. But it's all good, you know. It's not right, but it's okay.
I'm going to eat this pie anyway.
Anyway, so
wait a minute, little boy. Wait a minute. Don't even. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. Okay.
Seems like what? Let me see if I put this in the lower third. What does this do? Oh, okay. Okay. I like that lower third. So then we can do the. You know, we're still learning about how this platform works, so we can keep that like, share, and subscribe as a little permanent thing. Boom. That would like that. All right. So
I'm sorry. Let me address your question. Listen, says the most black and white person on the planet. Not a spoonful, not a smidgen, not at all.
Ooh.
Because also, the other part of this story is they have access to the same person that made the pie specifically for me. This is why I shared their contact information for them to make the connection. And that way they would have thought of them and they would have probably done one for them as well.
Well, this is awkward for all parties involved. So anyway, here I am in Alabama. So let me, picture it. my great grandparents bought a piece of land in Montgomery, Alabama, in the city. And on that house, eventually were built two houses. One that their granddaughter, my grandmother grew up in, and another, their other granddaughter, my grandmother's sister, grew up in. And so I went down there because at my sister's memorial, Roy Dale and Alvastine was like, hey, we getting together for Thanksgiving and you need to come. And so I was like, okay, I will be there. I promised I would be there. Roy Dale's mother and my other cousins and all of that was like, you coming, you coming, you coming. I was like, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. So we get there and there is Alvastine in the kitchen cooking away. And when I tell you Alvastine was cooking, was putting her foot in it. She put now I had assumed you could do this, but I had never done it. She cooked the greens in the Instant Pot, which was just a time saver. It wasn't like she did anything different. It just was a time saver. And you didn't, because let's just be clear that this house, like I said, it was Roy Dale and Alvastine's grandmother's house. And that grandmother, my auntie Jean, raised 5 kids in that house. Now, I will tell you, if you ever want to feel like a giant at 5'9", 5'10", go hang out with that side of the family because they are all small, short people. And so I was just walking around like Gulliver's, like the Gulliver's giant, like, you know, so
woke up tied down with shoestrings, like
exactly. So it was a beautiful house, but child, when I tell you that house looks exactly the same as it did the last time I was there 10 years ago, which is exactly the same as it looked the last time I was there 10 years before that, which is the same as it looked when I was 10 years old. That house has not, I mean, they didn't put new flooring in the living room, but that is about it. That kitchen is the same size. They got a new refrigerator, but that stove, that oven is all the same. And so there were like 80 people in that little house for Thanksgiving. And you know what? It was exactly what I needed. So it was lovely. But I have some observations. The first observation, you know, so Roy Dale said to his mother, was like, you need to, you know, because now it was now that Roy Dale's grandmother has died, you know, it's been passed to Roy Dale's mother, who is the one that is living there and sort of the caretaker of that house. Alvastine lives in my grandmother's house, which is the same house that my mother grew up in, which is right next door on the same piece of property. But anyway, so Roy Dale was like, you need to remodel, you need to change this up because this house literally has not been changed or updated since the 70s. I mean, that there's literally nothing that has changed about that house, to the extent that there's a little chalkboard right by like a green chalkboard that has phone numbers on it. So it's right by the phone. I didn't look to see if it's the same rotary dial phone that we used to have.
With the long
right. And that chalkboard has names and numbers on it. And I looked, and I think I texted you and best friend. I was like, this chalkboard is full of names, and every name, you know, every person that is named on this chalkboard is dead. And tell you how long those numbers have been there. It's only a 7-digit number. There's no area codes. That's how long those numbers have been on that board. And then somebody said something that was like about calling down to the house, and they said a number, which was, you know, our grandparents or great grandparents' number, which we all knew by heart, and we was like 7775309. That was the real number, but you know, everybody, like, we all said it in unison. All of these 55, 60-year-old people was like, yeah. They were
Baby,
like, oh,
listen.
they were like, call next door to see where Alverstein is. It was like 7775309. And everybody was like, yep, still remember the number. Ain't nothing changed.
Baby, the way I remember my great grandmother's telephone number is the way she used to say it, way my grandmother used to say it. Giara.
Exactly. And so not only is it the chalkboard, and it's the chalkboard of names, but there's a wall started by Roydell and Alverstein's grandmother, because she lived in the house probably the longest. She died when she was 98 years old, and I think she lived in that house since, she may have even grown up in that house. But anyway,
Okay.
all of these pictures, you know, like Polaroids or other pictures, like from graduations or marriages or whatever, you know. So you look at this person who was standing here, who was 60 years old, and on this wall is a picture of them as a baby. That's how long. That's how long, and all of that stuff that is on the wall. But you know, listen, I am fighting the urge, you know, so like you can see over my left shoulder a picture of, you know, a little picture of my mother, and you know, there's other that's my father at his funeral, and inside the picture of my mother's frame is a picture of me and my sister. And everybody in that picture is like 17 years old. So I have a ton of pictures, but I promise you they are not all going up, because I do not want to turn this house into a memorial in that way.
Yeah, no.
You know, I'm definitely going to put pictures up, and I'm actually, what I'm going to do is digitize all of the thousands of photos that I have and make like a photo book, and consult with Roydell and Alverstein and all the other cousins and stuff about that. And so we have all those memories, because, girl, you know, a lot of these pictures, we was like, you know, without Auntie Jean and my mother and grandparents and great grandparents and great great grandparents and stuff, shit, I don't know who the fuck these people are. So
listen, and it takes family to sit there like, well, who's that in the background? They're like, oh, that's yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, because that's right.
And so that was that set of observation. The food was delicious, as one might expect, at a Southern Black family's house. So, you know, I'm still Roydell's husband is a baker. Well, he's a chef, and he baked this caramel butter cake.
Oh,
that was basically like a
gooey butter cake.
A gooey butter cake with this caramel in it, and it was still warm. So the caramel was warm, and it had a little salt on it. And I was like, oh, my God, today. Mm-hmm. My God, today. And then Roydell was the bartender. So he made this drink. You know, y'all know normally I don't fuck with gin. But he made this drink that had gin and lemon juice and simple syrup and Grand Marnier and white wine. And baby, it was so fucking good. Baby,
we were going gin, Grand Marnier, white wine. I feel like you can go to the bathroom.
It was gooey butter cake, and we was weighing it out. And so one thing that I did notice was there was a marked difference between how all of the older people, and it's crazy to think, because you don't really think about your own age until you are in the exact same house where you used to be 4 and 5 years old, and now you're 55 or 60, years old, and now it's one of those things. It's like, bitch, I am hungry. When is the food ready? And you remember being in this house asking the same question, and it being like your mother or your grandmother cooking, and it was like, well, bitch, now I gotta cook. It was like,
That part.
well, shit. There's no one here that's gonna cook it. We got to cook our own fucking food
That
now.
part.
And so here we are. So like I'm having this conversation with some of the cousins about how we used to go to their parents' house, and their parents had this house in the suburbs of Montgomery. Not that Montgomery is a huge city, but it is a state capital. So, let's say maybe it's 150,000 people that live in Montgomery. So they got a suburb. And they had, I remember they had a big flat screen TV, but it was like a projection TV. And I remember we used to like to go out there because my grandmother only had 3 channels.
ABC, CBS, NBC.
Well, 4 and PBS.
Oh,
yeah. And when I tell you that,
did they get that one? She didn't get that one UHF channel, that one like 17, 29, 48, something like that.
Exactly. And when I tell you, she used to always want to watch like Lawrence Welk and shit like that. And so we used to like to go out to their house in the burbs because they had this big screen TV and they had cable. So they had HBO. And so it was fun. But while my parents was in the room drinking beer and cognac and, whatever grown folks was drinking, we would be in there while we were supposed to be watching TV. So like one of us would be the lookout, be like, the coast is clear. So here we are. What y'all doing in there? Nothing. We watching the TV. Yeah, baby, we was in there getting a little twisted. So while we were doing all of that, and so those were our memories of the time we spent together playing games, being upstairs, watching something on TV together. I noticed that and it's crazy to say, all of our collective, because I don't have no children or grandchildren like that, but all of our grandchildren, the ones under the age of like 15, they were all in the same room, but each one of them were on a tablet with headphones on. So I'm thinking like, okay, 40 years from now, if they're still getting together, what memories are they going to have? Because their memories are them. I don't know that they'll have any specific memory of. They call them Gigi because that's their great grandmother. I was like, this is Gigi's house, and I was like, who the fuck is Gigi? Oh, great grandmother. Okay, got it. But what memories are they going to have because they didn't do anything together? All they were doing was they just happened to be in the same room, but and it wasn't even like they were collectively playing a game together. They were all just on there, whatever. So that was that. But it was a lovely time. And then the next day, I drove from Montgomery to Huntsville to drop off some of my sister's ashes with her best friend. And then from there, I drove back to Atlanta. Now, let me tell you, Huntsville and Alabama do not have like a direct highway connecting them. So I rode across every hilly, mountainous road all over northern Alabama to get back. And I got back and I spent my time in the Delta Lounge and almost got kicked out because one of our brothers called about his love life. And so I'm giving him advice, and apparently I was a little loud. So one of the black women who, was like one of the staff there, she was like, shh. I was like, thank you. Good looking out, sister. So, yeah. But no, it was cool. So that was my time. And then now we are back at work, and baby, we are on a clock. All of my emails at the bottom now say it's in small letters, but in red letters, PTO alert. December 22nd, through January the 6th. So today is December the 3rd. So you have so that day is done. So you have 5, 10, 11, 12 days. That's how much time you have to get something from me. And then once we start, if basically, if you don't get it from me by the 18th, that's next year's problem. Because on the 19th, I'm just going to be clear, on the 19th, I ain't doing a whole lot. The 19th will be dedicated to canceling actually, I've canceled all of the meetings, to just like closing the books. Because like I'm going to leave my laptop at the job, the work tablet, and everything. All of that shit is going to stay there. Because girl, yes, the way I am already at least 1/3 checked out for this whole kit and caboodle. Yeah,
that same conversation that you just had about the dates, because again, I know the Black Degree Factory decides that certain offices don't necessarily get off, and so of course that's that's my office, and I'm like, let me be clear, I will not be available from this date to this date. She's like, are you sure? I will not be available from this date to this date. That's it. We had that conversation in my one-on-one. We're good for December. You already have it down. You put it in my one-on-one. We're good. I don't want to hear nothing. Don't call me afterwards. Don't message me no crap afterwards. I'm not answering. Nope. Not gonna do it.
Yep. So yeah. So I am just, and then people start like one of the women, lovely woman at work. So I don't have anything against her. She sends me these documents. She was like, please get your team to review these things, and we need this review back by December 23rd. I was like, baby, I'm gone after the 19th. So I will put everything in motion. But I promise you, as I am walking out the door on December the 19th, I will be turning off all notifications I won't even have my work devices with me. And I will be turning off notifications for work accounts on my personal devices. So we'll get you what you need. I'll get someone to deliver to you on the 23rd, but know that it won't be me. So now she's just coming back from maternity leave, so she don't have no time to take off. So, but
he might be working on Christmas Day.
Right. Well, no, we close on Christmas Day. That
don't mean she can't do no work at home.
Right. And I don't do that shit either. Baby, let it be 5:20. And I'm still working.
Listen, I get the messages the other day from my boss at like after it was like 5:40 or whatever. She's like, is there some reason? And I was like, why am I even looking at this message? I was like, okay, I'll see this in the morning.
Right.
And politely after 8:30, I was like, hey, just saw your message. Hey, I'll get on that right now. It'll be done this morning. And it was.
That part. So, Wicked. So, for those of you who knew, those of you who, so this is part 2, of the story. And as Eccentric said earlier in the chat, it essentially follows the lines of the play, which is split between the history of Dorothy, of Elphaba and Glenda, how they went to school together and everything, and how Elphaba discovered, well, really everybody, Elphaba and Glenda, because Glenda didn't know either, discovered that the wizard has no power, and the divergent paths they take. And the second part, just like in the play, so there's an intermission in the play, and then we pick up essentially where Wicked for Good picks up with them and their present, and that really gives more of the contemporaneous story that we know from The Wizard of Oz. Although Dorothy is a side character at best in this movie, for a lot of reasons, because MGM owns the rights to a lot of that stuff, which they did not give up. So, I mean, they don't
They didn't show
own.
that in their face. They didn't show they.
And I believe in the movie, she's only shown in like profile, or she's not a
Yeah.
main character in the play, in the Wicked musical at all. I just want to start my critique or my commentary by saying that, now listen, I know that Elphaba and her sister Nessa Rose fell out a little bit before she died. But I just want to be clear. Elphaba was not broken up enough for me over the fact that her sister died and that Glenda.
Excuse me. Her sister kind of treated her like shit.
I guess, but okay, all right, I suppose. But if she was all of that, I mean, I don't know. I guess I felt like I was looking for a little bit more, like, basically she was like, poor Nessa. Anyway.
And it wasn't a very long period of time, but it's like they just had a moment. Like they weren't connecting like sisters. And it was that thing where I feel like it was a thing where Nessa Rose kind of came into her own because she wanted taking over the dad's job and all that type of stuff and all the money. And Elphaba was she was a fugitive. You know what I mean? And at this point, she's like, she wasn't trying to help her. And not that I'm saying that by helping her it shows that you love her or care for her, but it was like she had no kind of. I don't think she would have had any regrets at all if she had never showed. Like if she had never seen her again, she'd have been like, "Oh well, whatever."
Right.
But not seeing her is one thing, but it was her attitude, because there was still some other stuff going on with them two, even at the school. I don't know if it had to do with her disability, but then it was also about the boy and all. So it was like,
And speaking of the boy, let's talk about Bach, because people are trying to make Bach out to be a sympathetic character, and he is a little bit, but also, so if we recall, when Wicked for Good, this movie starts, it's 5 years later. He has essentially been leading Nessa Rose on for five years. Now, this is a children's movie, so I don't know if they was getting it on all this time, but at a minimum, he was pretending like he liked her when all of the time he has had this secret affection for Glenda, which I'm like, it's crazy to me that you to have had a crush on somebody that you was in school with, but to have held on to it so fiercely 5 years later when you haven't seen this woman. You know what I'm saying? It's not like y'all was close or even part of the same friend group, so y'all continue to see each other. I'm pretty clear that from the time that they left Shiz University, Nessa and Bach have had no interaction with Glenda. So for him to be like so in love with her, was like, listen, girl, I got to go, because before she marries the most beautiful man in the kingdom, not my words, that's their words, that everybody wants Fierro, before he does this, I'm gonna take my redheaded munchkin ass and throw my hat in the ring. Now, Nessa Rose was kind of fucked up, because Nelson was like, "Oh, you think you're gonna leave?"
Listen. I'm gonna commend this man for holding on to this feeling, feeling for all this long, but okay. Maybe I'm just dead inside. I don't know. 5 years.
Yeah, there's no way that I would have held on to it that intently.
I can't speak for anybody else except for myself.
For someone that you don't even, interact with, you could be like, yeah, she's still whatever. But I mean, I feel like I would have shot my shot, long before that. But I also don't think that I didn't feel like they put enough meat around. Well, as I say it, well, I'm going to say this, but then I perhaps understand why. They didn't really put enough meat around why Nessa Rose was the Wicked Witch of the East. And I think it had to do with, and they, because, Nessa Rose wasn't the main character. I think it had to do with the way that she treated all of the Munchkins. So she basically, did basically Munchkins can't leave Munchkin land. They were basically forced into like servitude and whatnot. So, I mean, I get that, but I still feel like if this was the Nessa Rose story, we could have gotten a little bit more development on why she was the Wicked Witch of the East.
So here's what I will say. I hated these shoes. I did not like these shoes. I did not like them. I did not like them shoes.
Yeah.
And then with them little funny socks, I did not like them shoes.
Right.
I did not like
Mama
it.
looked good in that chair though. That pressing curl was all laid. She was looking good.
Listen, she had that little copper colored flat.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, but I mean, now I also didn't particularly care for. I didn't say I didn't care for. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more because, from what I understand, the lion was supposed to be Coleman Domingo, and so yes. I just wish that I would have. I don't want to say make a connection, but I would have. I wanted to make just see him or something, or see it in his face. I couldn't quite see it in his face. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me because I just didn't immediately connect the voice. And, afterwards, when someone was like, that was Coleman Domingo, I was like, oh, that was a wasted talent. I mean, that could have been, because the lion wasn't even central. And listen, say what you want, but Bach at least had a legitimate grievance with Elphaba. She did turn him into the Tin Man. But no, let's be clear. She saved him because Nessa Rose started the spell, and Nessa Rose was about to kill him. And this was the best solution in Oz, because I would have found a spell that would have been like reverse all this shit and turn him back into a Munchkin. But whatever, but even that aside, I could see a little bit Bach's thing. And we already know that Fiyero was just tagging along so that he could get back to his boo. But the Cowardly Lion was like, she gave me freedom. Fuck her. And it was like, girl, you was in a cage. She set you free.
But they did talk about like the psychological trauma of him being in a cage and letting him out or something. Or was that just in conversation that we talked about that? But it was
I've heard people say that as like a joke, but like you got your freedom, and so you're blaming the person who set you free.
Listen, and the animals leaving, they were just like they were like, don't do it, girl, don't, girl. We gotta go, we can't stay. It's like, well, okay, well, all right, but yeah,
right.
I think that's probably some of the reasons why I didn't particularly care for this part.
Mm-hmm.
And let me not say not care for it. It wasn't as good to me as the first part. I was just saying that way. The story, like I feel like I'm still missing a piece of the storyline. I think the only reason why I'm not upset is because I know the story. You know what I mean? Like, well, at least the Wizard of Oz part. So I kind of know that. Like, that's the stuff that I'm kind of using to fill in and kind of understand where we are. But I still wish it would have been, I don't want to say more of a backstory, but maybe a clearer backstory for some of the characters, the lion in particular.
Yeah.
And maybe Well, no, the line in particular, because that's the Scarecrow and Tin Man were still kind of. I could work with that. Like, okay, yeah, I could work with it. But yeah, but I was a little pissed off about the line. But other than that, okay.
I did like how they managed to work in some of the things, like, that if in our we would call Madame Morrible. I'm not saying she's like Storm, but she's a weather witch.
Right.
She can control the elements. So she's the whole reason that caused the tornado, that caused Dorothy to be here. So she really sort of set in motion everything that did all of this.
And Miss Mama's hair, listen, from one angle, it looked like a completely wonderful sculpted, like a 1990s updo type thing with the French whirl and the curls and everything else. But then when she slightly to the left, it was like wet down, matted, falling into place, but then tendrils hanging around it. But then you had to look at the whole thing and kind of look at it from the left to the right to kind of swirl it around. It was confusion and strangeness and beauty and ugly all at the same time. And it kind of worked for her. But it was confusing because I was like, they didn't do her. Oh, no, they did do her hair. Okay.
Right.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Is that how? Like, it took me too long to figure that out. Like, I was like, okay.
Also, the songs in this second part didn't hit the way the songs in the first part hit. I mean, it's kind of hard to top Defying Gravity, but I mean, not No One Mourns the Wicked. What was the song? No Good Deed. I was like, that was cute, but it ain't no Defying Gravity.
It was not.
So
it was not.
And I don't think that the ending. So they had to sort of meet in the same place, and to meet in the same place, the wizard has to leave. And how they got there didn't make sense to me because, okay, yes, Glinda finally grows a pair, but basically she just says, you gotta go. And the wizard's like, yeah, I'll leave. He says to Madame Morrible, she says to Madame Morrible, who actually has powers, bitch, you gotta go. And she just leaves. Glinda don't have no powers. I want to be clear. So she tells the wizard, who was like the head of state, you got to go. And even if he is like, okay, sure. Madame Morrible would be like, poof, be gone. So that, but you got to get to sort of the same place as the way the Wizard of Oz does in order for there to be at least a little bit of, whatever. So I did like the reveal. It wasn't a reveal for those of us who are even a little bit smart, that the wizard was spoiler alert, that the wizard was Elphaba's father. Because even in the first part, when they showed Elphaba's mother, it was fucking Jeff Goldblum singing the part of the wizard. And I was like, I'd already read the book, so I knew all of this, but there's no such thing as a mistake like that in a movie. I mean, you don't just have one of the main characters voicing a character that's younger and then the same green bottle and all that shit. But there are people being like, the wizard was Elphaba's mother or father. It's like, come on, girl. This is what happens when they don't have, like English literature and shit in class.
Don't. Let's not do that.
Yes, we are going to do that. I even got a TikTok about it. So
okay, well, all right. I mean, if you must, I like being in the land of the literate and of the read, and while I may not have read all of the things that I should have, but to be learned or learned and read, yes.
And I think it's. I keep trying to get but it's cold in here, because I'm already seeing what my electric bill is going to look like. So I'm going through the phase of I'm wearing sweaters and shit. And then in January, I'm gonna be like, girl, it is cold as shit in here. Why am I freezing in my old house? So the December bill is going to be high. The December to January bill is going to be low because I'm always out of town for a significant portion. But then, so that's what it is. I'm going to be in Florida and it's going to be warm there. And so when I get back, I'm going to be like, bitch, it is freezing here. So I'm going to turn the heat up. And then that end of January bill is going to be fuckery.
Baby, listen, the way this electric bill is set up on this side, on these parts, baby, when I tell you I was living my best life in September, October, and November.
Yes, when you didn't have to have anything on at all.
And more so towards the end of November when I started turning stuff on. But baby, I refuse to still turn on the big guns. You know, Big Bertha right here behind me. I refuse to turn her on. Mm-hmm. But I got my little my little small thing going on. That works wonders for me and a blanket. So listen, now I was laughing with my child because my child jumped up on me and I was trying to figure out, why are you all up on me? Like, what's going on? We ain't even brown like that. What we doing? We don't even. You trying to jump in and kick the bobo with me? Like, I don't want to talk to you right now. Like, I don't do all that. But I happened to put my hands on, and I was like, there was a chill on her fur, and I was like, oh damn. So let me turn this damn heat on.
Right.
She can't.
Animal cruelty. So, any final thoughts on Wicked?
I kind of. So, what would be interesting to me is, if I watched it in the opposite order, like if I watched the second part, then I have to go back and watch the first part if I hadn't seen it. But, you know, whatever. But I don't really have any other thoughts. I thought it was an okay movie. I really enjoyed the first part, like I said. I think it was, it's a great tool. And I hope that all the people that are nominated for something, the costume designers, Cynthia, Ariana, you know, all those people that are nominated for Oscars, I hope they clinch those things.
Yeah.
And I think that many of them are, I know Cynthia's trying to do the EGOT thing as well, but I don't think she has a Grammy yet. I don't think she does. So I think she would have, if she gets this, she would have 3 of the 4. I think that's how it is. But anyway, I'm just wishing for all of them to because this tool was an amazing tool for people to get to that spot. So I'm happy about that. Other than that, yeah, it's all right. I've seen it once. I can watch it again on cable when it comes on the rerun.
Yeah, I certainly am not going to be like, let's go to the movies again to see this. So I'm good.
Now, but I'm gonna talk about what movies I do want to go see in the movie theater, but in a couple minutes we'll talk about that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do this couple of tickle tacos.
Okay.
A lot of you white girls are Glendas, and that's why a lot of us would not come near y'all with a 10-foot pole. One thing I don't think a lot of people talk about Wicked is how triggering Glenda is as a character. First of all, before we get into this, I love Glenda. She's my favorite character, and I love Ariana Grande. I'm a huge fan. Okay, let's get that out the way. Multiple things can be true at the same time. One of the reasons why Wicked is so perfectly written and classic and will go on for generations and generations is because it's so prescient and because it has so much to do with society today. A lot of y'all are Glendas. You are selfish. You are manipulative. You want to utilize all of your gifts that you do have to be forward facing, but you don't actually want to deal with actual people who are being hurt. And we've had enough of that. So one of the reasons why I don't think I could ever date or marry a white woman, because I need to know that if
you made the same face that I did. So let's just hold on. Let's go back to
a lot of you white girls are Glendas, and that's why a lot of us would not will go on for generations and generations is because it's so prescient and because it has to be forward facing, but you don't actually want to deal with actual people who are being hurt. And we've had enough of that. So one of the reasons why I don't think I could ever date or marry a white woman, because I need.
Are you? Why, Craig? Why? Why you gotta lie, Craig?
A white woman?
What?
Woman. Okay.
You was singing a song. You was because Raheem Devon got a song called "Woman." I mean, was you singing that? Because I'm trying to make sure I understand. He's like woman. You might think that he might be saying white woman, but he's like strong woman.
Oh, speaking of woman, Cory Booker got married
We listen,
to a woman.
and his beard looks exactly like the last beard. You can't tell me that
Baby,
she is
he's
not
got
a
fucking type,
knockoff of Rosario Dawson. You cannot tell me.
baby. And the TikTok that I saw was like, and in other news, oh, I see Cory Booker got married to a woman. It was just, if the shade of it was just like, mwah. So,
And all this, listen, all this is alleged. It is alleged, it is alleged. But okay, Corey.
is okay. I mean, sure. So hold on, I gotta pull something back out of.
Des, you are a clown. That girl thinks he's a white woman. I cannot with you.
Right. And all right, so next up, as you all know, well, you may know, I did a podcast called Frequency with my little brother, Mr. Dominus. So we'll show the clip. And loud bottoms who cream and whose holes push out when they're getting fucked.
If a studio were to make porn specifically for you, tailored to your specific taste, what would it be like?
It would be loud bottoms who cream and whose holes push out when they're getting fucked. So here's the thing. Who I'm going to invite over to my house to fuck is different than who I'm going to fuck like at a market party. Mm-hmm. I went to a market party a couple of weeks ago.
How was that?
So it was fun, but it wasn't like the official horse market party. It's a little club for men of color. Uh-huh. So there were a lot more bottoms than there were tops, which is sort of fine for me. But I also get off on the energy of all of the collective people, and it's usually like a 2-to-1 tops to bottoms. So, but yeah, I love a train scene, a cum dump scene. All right, so here's the thing. This was the scene.
Are we going to talk about the person in the video? Oh no, that was you. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
What? Oh, she's trying to be cute. Okay, I'm going to just dash over that. All right. And so, people have been making comments, right? And this one person, I'm not going to put him up on the screen because this is not a call-out show, right? But he posted it on the thing. He says, holes do not cream. You'd think someone from the kink community would know this. It was like, the girls say shit like, ain't nobody going
who that is because I don't even know.
I'll send it to you separately. We're not gonna do this. So I'm a comment on the comment, but I'm not gonna put his name up to give him the whatever. So
okay, well you must go tell me after the show because if you tell me the name, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. But okay.
Holes do not cream. You'd think someone from the kink community would know this.
Let me go on to Dominic's
so here's the thing. I know exactly what I'm talking about, for one. And two, just because you've never made a whole cream or never had anyone make your whole cream doesn't mean that such a thing doesn't exist. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Feel free to come on to the BGKH show if you want to have a conversation about it.
So there we go. All right, next up, talking about literacy or lack thereof.
Surprisingly, a hot topic that's being discussed right now is teachers saying kids can't do basic things anymore. Teachers are putting a spotlight on how high school students, and we're going to start with just high school students, how high school students don't know their home address. They couldn't tell you at all where they live. More than not being able to read a clock, they couldn't tell you how many seconds are in a minute. How many minutes are in an hour? Beyond not being able to write in cursive, one teacher said she had to stop assigning written assignments because the majority of her students' handwriting was so illegible she couldn't tell what was on the page. We're talking about their print handwriting. There are college professors saying that there are college students who cannot legibly print their name. There was a lot of discourse on how middle school teachers are having to teach kids how to tie shoes. First graders who can't get themselves in and out of cars, can't peel an orange, aren't able to eat an unsliced apple, and afraid to use the bathroom because of how loud the toilets flush.
Bitch. I listen, girl, if anybody that I know, if we were somewhere and your child don't know how to eat an apple without it being peeled for them, I am going to read you, not the child, read you up, down, and sideways.
Listen, I at the Black Degree Factory, I see this and I see it on a very regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit back and I say to myself, it has to be just me. It has to be. Because I swear to God, like I just don't, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm so glad there's other people out here that it's not like it's the whole affirmation of like, no, you listen, I feel like Michael Jackson, you are not alone. Like that's how I feel. Oh, Lord have mercy. I can't.
Well, and I remember, so when I was a freshman at FAMU, they had a writing requirement. So like in all of your non-technical classes, you had to have writing assignments because so many of the students were coming to college without basic writing skills. Now, even in college, I was in advanced English classes in college. So, you know, we were reading The Bluest Eye.
Tony.
What's the one? Not Gloria. I was going to say Gloria Gaynor. Gloria, The Women of Brewster Place. You know, we were reading shit like that. So we was reading stuff and writing papers, but it was, so the writing requirement wasn't anything that was out of the ordinary for me. But the writing requirement was specifically because so many students, and it's Florida, FAMU is a state school, so many students that were coming out of these high schools in Florida were coming to college and not really being able to read and write at a college level. Some of them weren't even reading at a high school level. So they had to have these sort of writing assignments to get people to write a certain number of things. And I was just like, girl, wow. So
listen, Lola, I had to do the same thing. I'm telling you, I had to do the same thing in undergrad. And I think I shared with you all the first time I wrote a paper in grad school. I was so outdone when that woman gave me that paper back. She was like, you are a master's level student. She said, there are some things in here that you must have been rushing. She's like, I'm gonna need you to resubmit this. I was like, excuse me? What? What? What are we talking about? I was so mad. I was so mad at her. Her name was Moira. I was like, oh, Miss Moira.
Miss Moira was like, I'm just going to pretend like this isn't happening.
That's literally the tone in which she wrote it. And then when I went up and I read it, so I went and asked her, and I was like, hey, Moira, she was like, yeah, that's what she was like, you are a master's level student. There's a certain level of, and I was just like, oh, I was like, then, you know, I walked out and bitch, I was mad. First of all, it was like 9 o'clock at night. I'm coming home at night, work all day. I was so motherfucking mad. I was on that motherfucking bus coming home, and I was like, bitch. So of course, I'm sitting there scribbling in my notes. I'm like, this motherfucking shit over into this bullshit. And when I got to work the next day, I was like, send.
And then she was like, much better.
She didn't even do the much better. She came back to me, gave it back, and was like, thank you. I said,
she got your little red wagon together,
baby. And listen, when I tell you I would go into class, like I would go into class like guns, like bitch, what you gonna say? You gonna say, bitch, you gonna say something? Bitch, I'm gonna give it to you. What did you gonna say? She didn't. She listen. In class, we had discussions about everything. Everything was great. These papers, I was like, oh, okay, baby. I would stop work at about 2:30, so I can then start typing my paper 2 hours early, so I can start typing my paper at work. I mean, it kind of helps when you might gonna say all that, but it kind of helps when you have a reason to stop. But yeah, I was sitting there. Yeah. So I would get those papers all the way together. And that's the only one I was concerned with. Everybody else's I wasn't concerned with. Because I was like, I have never. What? Of all things?
Yeah, I would no one's ever said that to me. And I would probably have a similar reaction to you. It's like, excuse you?
I was like, what? And she's the only person, the only one of my graduate school professors that did that shit to me. The only one. I was like, oh, this bitch. I said, okay. I was like, I got your number, bitch. Okay.
And let's close out this segment with an important health message. Where do I put it? Oh,
it's in the yeah.
It wasn't coming up. So I had never heard of daily. I'd heard of daily prep versus on-demand 211 prep.
Never heard of that word.
You what?
Never heard of on-demand 211.
So,
is this like after exposure, like post?
Right. So how to take prep 211? Take 2 pills of Truvada or generic Truvada 2 to 24 hours before sex, and it should be closer to 24 hours. The 24 hours to get the prep to be sort of fully in your system. Continue taking 1 pill every 24 hours as long as you are having sexual encounters. And then once you stop having sexual encounters, take 2 final doses 24 hours apart. So you take 2 pills, a minimum of 2 hours and up to 24 hours before sex. Closer to 24 is better so that you can get you get all that floating around in your stream. And then every day that you are getting it in, so you have gone to Dory or to IML, or you've gone to wherever, and you've gone to Atlanta for MLK weekend. Every day that you were there, take your Truvada every day religiously. Then when you get back on that plane that Monday morning, you take a pill, then you take another pill 24 hours after that. And that is the 211 regimen. And it says some tips. Prep 211 is not effective for people who bottom during front hole or vaginal sex. Front hole is a term that some trans men use for their front genitalia.
Or
bonus hole, same thing.
Bonus hole, as well.
Taking the pills is recommended is crucial to make the 211 dosing work for you. Use reminders and alarms. Use 211 with all sexual encounters. Don't pick and choose when to use 211. Switch to daily dosing whenever you think it's a better fit for you. Always make sure to take the last 2 doses after your last sexual encounter. And Eccentric says Prep 211 is what healthcare workers use for needles.
That's what I thought this was when you were exposed to that. That's what I was originally thinking that this was. But you know what? Listen, as long as it works and it's effective, then listen, that's the whole point.
So that's my
Dag load.
was like, doesn't work for vaginal. Rude. But that's our health tip for the day. On here, we are Black, Gay, Kinky, Human. And so we recognize, and listen, both of us, particularly me, have talked about getting it in and how frequently we get it in. But our getting it in does not mean that we are taking chances with our health. I'm on injectable prep. And as a part of that, you're supposed to, the rule is that you get your HIV test whenever you do your injectable prep or go for your refill on your pill prep. and you do the STI testing, I think once a year. Well, bitch, mine or every 6 months.
We're at an every 2 month type of situation.
I do mine every 2 months too because I'm on the injectable prep. I'm already there. It's just an extra 2 vials of blood plus, this is personal, but listen, better this than the consequences. They take 2 extra vials of blood, and they do an anal swab and a urine sample that tests for chlamydia, gonorrhea, a bunch of other shit. So I do that every 2 months. So every 2 months, I know that I am HIV negative and on, current on all of my testing. And after, I'm not going to say every, because sometimes I forget too, most sexual encounters, especially now, if I might not do it, take my doxy, like if I just hooked up with, some person that, whatever. But baby, if I have gone to a market party or gone to Slammers that night and or gone to the scum party in New York City, I certainly take my doxy that morning. Also, did you know that doxypep was an acne medicine?
I did not know it was an acne medicine, but funny you should say that, because the times that I've taken it, I was like, get into this skin, honey. It's like, get into this skin, get into all of it, honey. So listen, I'm laughing because when you talked about the anal swab, so normally you either do it self or your doctor does it. And so no, I'm like, well, if you're doing all this, just go ahead and do it. Like, all right, fine. But this last time I was like, I'll do it myself. And so I'm sitting there and I was like, I give you this little, and you're like, did I get it? Like, did I, what, did it go in? Are we sure? Like, are we, like what? Like what? Okay. So, and then I go back and my doctor's like, well, we already have a doxy prescription. It has a couple refills. I was like, girl, send another one. Listen, I'm going to go through, the holidays are coming. I was like, I'm going to go through that. Just keep it coming. Right. Just keep it coming. But when I got those results that were coming in on my my GW, the my chart thing, and it was like, I got an email. I was like, meanwhile, I'm searching for my glasses because I was like, okay, all right, here we go. So yeah, I get it. I know that it depends on what else I've had to eat, but it does kind of upset my stomach a little bit.
Oh, as Eccentric says that, make sure you eat prior. You got to eat and drink a lot of water, because baby, and you're also not supposed to lay down for like the first 30 to 45 minutes. Baby, I took that doxy on an empty stomach, and it literally, y'all know that I'm not very good with nausea or anything. It literally ruined my whole day. I was fucked up the whole day.
Sometimes it gets you, and it's almost like what you ate, almost like if it's not really, like it has to be heavy and like meat as opposed to like vegetables. To be like, I need the protein in there, so they kind of, but
yeah, you can't just eat a carrot. This needs to be a meal.
Yeah. So,
and I found out the part about the acne because some TikTok that I was watching, the guy was talking about a friend of his who was on doxy, who apparently had like a skin condition, who was also a whore. And we mean whore as a sex positive term, not just he likes to get it in, and so do we. I'm a whore, but this guy had connected with the friend and was like, bitch, your skin looks amazing. And he was like, yes, girl, this doxy, it is an actual it is an actual medication. And so what it was that this doctor was pointing out the hypocrisy of the CDC and some other people saying that we don't want to prescribe doxy for PEP, which is post-exposure prophylaxis, because it's like promoting a lifestyle. And they're like, no, if you do that, then people are going to become resistant to doxy. But you're giving this to people as an acne medicine, so it's hypocritical. So anyway, so yeah, so we got to talk on a ton of more stories, but it is 9:32. So you got some stories for us, baby?
I do. In the same vein, we were just talking about this. Listen, we just celebrated. What just passed was historically World AIDS Day. It's been celebrated since 1998, and as of just 2 days ago, this current administration was not celebrating World AIDS Day. A U.S. senior administrative official stressed that the U.S. would continue its work to combat HIV and AIDS, both through the new global health strategy and through the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief, or PEPFAR. And it was started under George W. Bush. CNN reported that health experts are warning that Trump's administration's new America First global health strategy could further damage public health systems, already reeling from the billions of dollars in foreign aid cuts after the destruction of the U.S. Agency for International Development. And then also Dr. Anna Pearson, chair of the Infectious Diseases Society of America's HIV Medicine Association, said the efforts to unravel our country's HIV response raises alarm bells. And she was quoted as saying, erasing HIV from the federal budget will not make the deadly virus go away, but will reverse the progress made towards ending the HIV epidemic. This is what she was saying in her statement. And without continued research and support for HIV prevention, surveillance, and services, new HIV transmissions and healthcare expenditures will climb and people will die. I just saw a picture of the gay men's chorus of San Francisco, I think it was. And I think there were like 115 people up on this stage. And it was a literal actual picture where they blacked out every single person from 1989 that is still, it was 1989, I think it was, or 1993. But anyway, from that period of time that is still living, there were only 7 people in that from that choir that are still living today. 7 people.
Right.
Anyway, we talked about this prior on the show before. The Fugees rapper Pras Michel, he was sentenced to 14 years for illegal donations to the Obama campaign. This happened Thursday. He got 14 years in prison for where he was convicted of illegally funneling millions of dollars in foreign contributions to former President Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. In April of 2023, he was convicted of 10 counts, including conspiracy and acting as an unregistered agent of a foreign government. The trial in D.C. included testimony from Leonardo DiCaprio and former attorney Jeff Sessions. His defense attorney was saying that this sentence was completely disproportionate to the offense. Now, you may be asking, like I did, what the hell did you do? Like, how did this all go down? Well, Michelle, and I think it's Michelle that you pronounce it, obtained over $120 million from Malaysian billionaire Low Tak Jo, also known as Jolo, and he steered some of that money through straw donors to Obama's campaign. Michelle also tried to end a Justice Department investigation of Low, tampered with 2 witnesses, and perjured himself at trial. So Low, who has lived in China, was one of the primary financiers of The Wolf of Wall Street, a movie starring DiCaprio, and Low is a fugitive but has maintained his innocence. Now, Low's motivation for giving Michelle money to donate was not so that he could achieve some policy objective. Instead, he wanted to obtain a photograph with himself and then President Obama.
Baby, so basically, we all know that cannot be true. Because even if you've got lots of money to throw away, you are not donating, giving anybody $120 million just so you can get a picture with somebody.
He is a billionaire, and while I don't believe that it came out of his pocket, I do believe it may have come out of a couple of funds. But hey, listen, I'm rooting for him. Pras to kind of stay out, but that ain't gonna happen. And then I was really trying to figure out what the hell he did and how much money we talked about here. And so I was already done at 120 million. I was like, well, okay, we'll see you in a decade or so. I'm going to talk about some new music from the official charts website. Jessie J is back with her first studio album release in 7 years called "Don't Tease Me with a Good Time." There's a deluxe edition of Ed Sheeran's #1 album "Play" that's coming out this Friday. Bryan Adams with A California Christmas and country star Tracy Adkins on One More Christmas. The cast of RuPaul's Drag Race UK, they're releasing Money Shot, a track performed by the show's 4 finalists, Catherine Feelings, Bones, Elle Vosk, and Celexia Diction. So we'll see how that turns out and what that's going to be looking like. There's some other new releases. Ella Iyer, and these are all R&B releases, called Everything in Time. Ray Charles actually has a new release called No One Does It Like Ray Charles, and it's a collection of his long-lost 1960s singles into one seamless, newly restored album that finally completes his classic era. And then Summer Walker, her album Finally Over It, closes the Over It trilogy with Finally Over It, a conclusion that's part confession, part confrontation, but really freedom. And then also, Miss Mavis Staples has a new album called Sad and Beautiful World. So listen, keep on pulling out, Miss Mavis. Some new movies that are coming out in December. Sense and Sensibility, the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. Now, while I do like some animated movies, I can't. Marty Supreme, David, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Man Finds Tape is the other movie, and then the one movie that's coming out in December that's going to be released in the theaters that I want to see, and they're going to show it from beginning to end, is Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair. Baby, I really want to see this whole thing.
That's like 5.5 hours.
It's 3. I think it's 3.5 hours.
No, well, I had read something that said it was 5.5 hours because they've not added a ton, but there is at least several minutes of additional footage in addition to the 2 parts, and so it's still a lot. Even if it's 4 hours, that's still a lot.
Well, it would have been nice. I do remember being in the movie theater and I got pissed off when we got to that first. I was like, "Is that the goddamn movie?" I was so pissed off. I will never forget that. I think Spillboy and I were at the movie theater watching this. But anyway, I was so pissed off about that. But anyway, Prime has some new movies that are going to be coming back to Prime, and it's a bunch of old movies that they're bringing back. Just to give you a sample of one: 12 Angry Men, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Bloodsport, Bull Durham, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Hackers from 1995, Hoosiers from 1987, Mad Max from 1980, Notting Hill, Penguins of Madagascar, which actually was kind of cute. Platoon, The Man in the Iron Mask, The Merchants of Joy, and also Zombieland. Those are a couple of the movies that are coming out.
The Birdcage. And The Birdcage.
Yes, and The Birdcage. Well, so first of all, I would not be a good gay steward if I didn't have The Birdcage in my collection.
Exactly. So, right.
Number one. So I can watch that at any time, just like I can watch Kill Bill at any time. However, it's on the theater. That's the side, but that's a whole other story. But yes, those are some of the movies that are going to be coming out and on Prime, because if you've noticed, a lot of these streaming services, they have movies up and then they'll take them down and then they'll re-release them or whatever. And so they'll just put them back on other things. So I know Blade was actually going to be moving over to, I think Blade 1 and 2 was actually going to be coming back to streaming service. And if I remember correctly, it may have been Netflix, I think, but I remember seeing it somewhere else. But again, this was just new on Prime. But I remember reading something about Blade, because I also believe that they are trying to build the anticipation for this Marvel movie whenever they're going to release it, or finish making it, which is the remake of Blade, because he's a part of the Marvel universe at some particular point.
Right.
So, yeah. But we shall see. But that's all I got for the stories this week. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of that. And that's all we got for right now.
Well, all right, kids, we are over time, but we had fun as always. So we will be back next week. So I think we probably need to decide now. So we'll just like and then since we'll be on hiatus because we've got December the 10th and the 17th, and then the 24th is Christmas Eve. So we'll be on leave. We'll let you know next week when we'll come back after that. But we've got a couple more shows left in season 14, and then we'll be back in January with cycle. Excuse me, we are like America's Next Top Model. So we will be back in. We still got a couple more shows. Don't forget Lola. Every Wednesday. Right. At 8 p.m.
Lola. That's why I asked, did you make sure that you like
And we will be
and
back with cycle
subscribe
15 in January.
notifications? Yeah, like, did you put the notifications on? I'm just saying. But anyway, listen,
Yes.
as always, thank you. We appreciate you. It's getting cold out here. Please stay warm. It's also the holiday time, and it's not a good time for everyone. Please check on your friends, your loved ones, and anyone that you care about. Please check on them, because sometimes you just never know what that phone call or that stop by, that moment of just saying hi could mean to that particular person. This time of year, we have a high rate of suicide and kind of harmful behaviors that are going on. So just check on your friends and family, make sure they're all right, and make sure you're okay. So if you feel, anybody on the show feel like you having a moment, and you have my number, call me. And if you don't, hit me on Facebook or whatever. But listen, I'm here. So if you need something, let me know. Come on.
And that the same goes for me too. This is a tough time for people. Statistically, I think more people die around the holidays for various and sundry reasons, and it can be tough being around for that. So we are here to support you.
Yes.
And with that, I think we will say thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. And good night.
Night. Shout out to all the cancer survivors, and happy birthday, hubby and Grace.
Happy birthday. Bye.
Bye.